Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the British Hornet Mk III, newly introduced in patch 1.71. British heavy fighter sitting at 5.7 battle rating in realistic battle. Now let's take a look at what the plane can do. It has fantastic climb rate, and combine that with the attacker spawn that it gets, and you're basically always the highest plane. Great start, and from there you can boom and zoom, which is the purpose of this plane if you want to use it in the fighter role. The plane is very diverse, of course. It also has a lot of bomb load, so you can not only use it as a heavy fighter, but you can also use it as an attacker and throw some bombs on the plane, or rockets, or some combos of that, which is very nice. The plane is versatile in that regard. I always prefer to fly it as a fighter, of course, to see what it can do in that role. The plane has good firepower, as you could just see us smash that P-47. It has four 20mm Hispano Mark II cannons with 150 rounds per gun, 600 total, which is quite nice. Only you run through the rounds pretty quickly, so you gotta watch your trigger happiness a little bit. The plane has a good speed in general, and also decent top speed in a dive with 780. Of course, 780 is not near the best top speed in a dive at this battle rating, and you can definitely get caught when you try to dive away, so that's not really an option, at least not from most planes. Other heavy fighters maybe yes, but a normal single engine fighter will probably catch up with you. The plane has good energy retention in the horizontal, so that's good once you get out of the dive and you try to keep the speed. Especially using web, you will hold the speed for quite a long time, but that goes as well for a lot of the competition, so not a huge benefit, but the plane does have it, and for a heavy fighter that's quite nice. The energy retention in the vertical though is not very good. You lose a lot of speed in the vertical maneuvers, and that makes it a little bit tough in the boom and zoom roll, as you have to zoom out. And what you basically want to do first here is don't go into a very steep vertical climb after you made your boom run, but extend with a horizontal runaway until you extend it enough, and then you go into a shallow climb to regain your altitude. Then you reset, and then you go back in towards your next target. Now the maneuverability on the plane is very average. It feels very heavy, and that for me was a little bit disappointing, as I just get shot by these destroyers. I was wondering if the destroyers are more accurate. This is my first encounter with destroyers, and I get two heavy hits in from the destroyers. Well, usually it takes half an hour before a destroyer got you in patch 1.69. Now in 1.7 it seems like they're very accurate. I had to go back to the airfield pretty quickly because my engines are already red and almost dying. But anyway, I had the expectation that this plane would be very maneuverable for a heavy fighter, maybe even comparable to some of the single seat fighters. But that's not even close to reality. I've always read and heard that the Hornets were very maneuverable for a heavy fighter. It's not the case. They feel very heavy and not maneuverable at all. The acceleration in the plane is also bad. You need a steep dive to get some acceleration going, and it's not really good. So if you get caught and you try to dive away, you will have the plane that catches you behind you for a very long time. What another point is, the ammo load is good and the guns have good damage, but the guns jam very quickly on this plane. So you have to be aware of that. Don't make the burst too long, and keep the pauses. Make the pauses between the burst long enough so that the timer on the jamming has time to fade out. The compression above 650 kilometers an hour is also real. The plane does have some control stiffening there, and so be aware of that in a steep dive when you get close to the ground. The plane doesn't take damage well at all. The flight model is heavily impeded with only light damage. This works very well with a 50 cal on the wing, 50 cal on the engine, and you're done. You can go back to the airfield. It also catches fire pretty quickly. I've died to bombers a few times, just sad with one tick, one hit, and caught fire, and you're dead. It's just very annoying. The plane is also very sluggish at lower speeds, and you don't want to get slow in this plane. So keep it fast, keep it from altitude, stay strict in your boom and zoom roll, and you'll have a chance to survive in this plane. I have a totally different subject as well for you guys. We're approaching a bomber, and in this plane, in this particular plane, I have shot down 5 bombers with critical hits. They plummeted to the ground and they crashed. With critical hits, right? With critical hits in. Now this has happened to me in this plane 5 times, and I have not seen it yet elsewhere, but is that something in this patch? I don't know. I mean, against the with the Corsair, I did shoot a few bombers, but I killed them immediately. They didn't plummet to the ground. But with this plane, the frustration was high with me in this plane, because I lost 5 kills because of some strange thing. It happened before in the last patch as well, sometimes, but very rarely that it really, you know, when you crit a plane, you put a bomber on fire, it plummets to the ground, puts the fire out, and then it crashes because because of the speed it builds up. That was a major frustration. My kill death ratio in this plane is terrible, but partly because of that. And in this patch I've also been privy to some extensive kill stealing in this plane. But oh well, I guess that has always been part of the deal. The overheating in this plane, by the way, is not bad at all. It has a little bit of overheating when you abuse the web, but it's easily manageable, and nothing compared to other planes I've flown so far. Why I've gone for the central fuselage here is beyond me, but here is where I discovered the gun jamming. That is a real problem. I thought I was making bursts, but the bursts they didn't have long pauses in between them, and not long enough apparently, because we jammed the guns here. And we still had a third of our ammo left, so we basically could have gotten that B-24 with some more careful pauses in between the bursts. Unfortunately, you have to discover that somewhere, and that was in this match, which also was my best match in the Hornet, probably because of the cloud cover, which was very beneficial to this plane. 3 kills in this match, and let's see what kind of rewards we got for that performance. No special rewards, 30,000 Silver Lions and 2300 research points. I'll see you in the conclusion. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. Now that was an enjoyable match, but one of the few in the Hornet. There's a lot of frustration in this plane with the damage it takes so very badly. If you get the altitude, you're often the first one that engages the bombers, and just one hit from 50 cals or some such, and you will have a fire or you will have damage on a wing, and this flight model responds so badly with the damage that you just basically have to go back to the airfield immediately, which is really frustrating. You even get killed a lot by bombers as well. I got killed 4 times by bombers, by fires. Absolutely ridiculous and very frustrating, especially since you saw the speed where you came in. Just a random hit. It's just very annoying. This plane is not a main combat fighter. You have to see this plane if you want to use it in the fighter role as a support plane that comes in and you work off of others. So you need other planes to get into dogfights with enemies, and then you can come swooping in with your heavy firepower and you can destroy planes. But in a dogfight against a single engine fighter, you are basically dog meat. You are done for, and you basically don't want to do that. Keep the plane in a strict boom and zoom roll. Come from high up and try to preserve your energy, try to preserve your speed, and use this plane from the fringes. Use it as a support plane, and in that capacity you can do pretty well as a fighter. If you want to use it in the ground attack role, I guess you can do that. I guess it can do that fairly well as well. It has good bomb load options with bombs and rockets and combinations of both. So if you are a ground attacker, then this plane could definitely be nice in that capacity. Although it will probably lose its speed pretty quickly when you turn around a few times for targets, and if you then get jumped, you are basically a sitting dog, because this plane is very sluggish when it gets slow. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.